Hello friends, very good morning. This is Dr. Janardhan Pawar from PC College Varamati. Friends, today also we are going to talk about different methods and channels of communication. Friends, in yesterday's videos, we people have seen so many aspects of methods and channels of communication. I still remember we people have seen one of the types of communication, and that was verbal communication. Under the concept of verbal communication, we people have seen two different methods of verbal communication, and these two methods were oral communication and written communication. As far as these two different methods of communication, which come under the category of verbal communication, we have seen oral and written. As far as these two concepts are concerned, we have seen its advantages and disadvantages. Similarly, we have seen advantages and disadvantages of oral and written communication. Not only we have seen advantages and disadvantages of oral and written communication, we have also seen different forms which can be used for the purpose of verbal communication. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about the second type of communication, and that type of communication is called as non-verbal communication. Friends, as I told you yesterday, verbal communication means it can be done by using mouth, it can be done by using spoken words or written words. So here, in case of non-verbal communication, as the name reflects everything, here words or written words or spoken words are not used in this particular type of communication. So simply we can understand one thing: this kind of communication can be done by using without any sort of words or written words or spoken words. So one thing we people have to understand about this non-verbal communication is very clear, and that is, in case of non-verbal communication, communication can be done by using symbols, by using code language, or by using some other pictures and all. So here written and spoken words are not at all used in this kind of communication, and this is what this kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication. The word verbal is very important. Verbal means what? Words, those we speak from our mouth and that we write on papers. So here there is no question of using word from mouth, and there is no question of word using on paper. So here only symbols are used, only pictures are used, only codes are used for the purpose of making the communication, and that kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication. Here in this case of communication, we can also use body language, our gestures and postures also, for communicating the message, and this is what this kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication. So here they have given one more definition of non-verbal communication that is very clear, and it reflects the meaning of non-verbal communication. Basically, it is sending and receiving messages in a variety of ways without the use of verbal code. So here they have said like this: in this kind of communication, we receive and send messages without using verbal codes or written words or spoken words, and in a variety of ways. What are the variety of ways? Those variety of ways are symbols, pictures, and different codes that can be used for the purpose of non-verbal communication. So friends or students, what you people have to remember, in case of non-verbal communication, written words or spoken words are not used. Only they use pictures, symbols, and codes for the purpose of communication, and this kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication in a simple way. I hope you people have understood the concept of non-verbal communication in a precise manner. I hope so. So friends, there is one thought given by one of the great thinker, and that thinker was George Bernard Shaw, about non-verbal communication, and that particular thought reflects everything about non-verbal communication. It also talk about the importance of non-verbal communication and the power of non-verbal communication in our day-to-day life. As I told you, words are not used, means we do not speak from our mouth, or we are not going to write anything on the paper. Still, the gesture and posture that we use for the purpose of non-verbal communication, that is stronger than the words that we speak from our mouth or that we write on the paper. So here we can understand the power of word codes and symbols and gestures and postures by looking at the thought given by this great George Bernard Shaw. I am the most spontaneous speaker in the world because every word, every gesture, and every report has been carefully rehearsed. So here, from this particular thought, we can understand the importance of non-verbal communication in our day-to-day life. This is what I said. This, whatever we use as a gesture, posture, and codes and symbols and pictures in our day-to-day communication for going for non-verbal communication, those are important, those are powerful than the words that we write on the paper or that we speak from the mouth. So here we can understand the importance of non-verbal communication by looking at thought given by great George Bernard Shaw. And if you look at the second picture of that lady, it shows that no words from the mouth, so only non-verbal communication. That is a picture talks about the concept of non-verbal communication. So this is a concept of non-verbal communication. Moving on to the next slide, here we can see how we can make non-verbal communication without using words and words on paper. So if you want to go for non-verbal communication, different forms and variety of ways are available to make your communication without words, that is from your mouth or from your paper. So what are they? For the purpose of making non-verbal communication, different ways can be used, and those ways I have just sorted out here. And those ways are shaking hands. We can shake hands sometimes, and we wish each other. So that is a first way of doing non-verbal communication. We use our posture. Similarly, we go for our gesture also. Then we show some different sort of expressions on our faces. So that is a part of, again, non-verbal communication. We show our appearance is also important. How you appear, how you talk, how you walk, how you express your feelings on your face, that is also a part of what non-verbal communication. Then we show different types of flows from our voice. Sometimes voice is also important. In Sometimes we go for low voice, we can go for higher level of voice. So it shows your gesture and posture. So it is also a part of non-verbal communication. Similarly, tone is also important. If I want to give a happy news, in in that case I go for higher tone. In case of sad news, I go for lower tone. So tone is also important, and that tone is also a part of what non-verbal communication. Then hairstyle, the perfume that we use, clothes that we wear, that is also a part of non-verbal communication. They talk too much about the concept, about everything. Then expression in your eyes are also talkative. So if I want to look into the eyes, they also talk. So we can talk by using eyes also. So that is what it is called as non-verbal communication. Your smile also a part of non-verbal communication. How close you stand to others, the way you stand, that is also a part of non-verbal communication. How you listening is a very good skill, and how do you listen, that is also a part of non-verbal communication. Confidence, how you do your work with confidence, that is also a part of non-verbal communication. Your breathings, the way you move, the way you stand, and the way you touch people, color choice, and silence. So all these are the ways and variety of ways of communicating your messages by using these non-verbal communication. Varieties we people have seen here. So there are a number of ways that can be used for the purpose of non-verbal communication, from shaking hands to the silence. Everywhere you can observe that sort of communication, and that is called as what? Non-verbal communication. So friends, this is the concept of non-verbal communication. I hope you people have understood the concept of non-verbal communication, and there is no doubt as such. So friends, in next video we are going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of non-verbal communication in a precise manner. Till then, just I want to repeat while going to close this lecture. So what we have seen in this lecture today, we people have seen about the concept of non-verbal communication. Basically, this concept of non-verbal communication is not new for us. We use this kind of way of communication in our day-to-day life also. And here basically what we people have to focus here, in case of non-verbal communication, we do not use words, we do not speak something from our mouth. It means what? Spoken words are not used. Similarly, written words are also not used, and this is what this kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication. So there may be a question in the mind of you guys, how the communication is done. So simple, the communication is done through various ways of body language, various ways of symbols and pictures, and through the symbol, pictures, and body language, gesture, posture, and codes, we try to speak with others without making any sort of noise from our mouth or words on the paper. So this kind of communication is called as non-verbal communication. After that, we have seen one more important thought given by great George Bernard Shaw about this non-verbal communication. And finally, we people have been talked about what are the variety of ways, and those ways can be used for the purpose of non-verbal communication. So simply we people have understood different modes of non-verbal communication in this slide, and I request you all go through this video, understand the video first, and if you have some doubts and queries, you can ask me your doubts and queries whenever you want. Till then, stay connected, stay tuned, and thank you very much.